Good morning and welcome to Wellbeing Wednesday. And once again, I'm delighted to say I'm joined by the wonderful Rachel Atkinson from Red Feather Consulting. But we're not talking about anything HR today, are we? We're going to talk about volunteering because from the 1st to the 7th of June is National Volunteers Week. Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
And obviously during COVID, there's been lots of people volunteering for different things, but maybe now lockdown is lifting. That's going to change. But I know we were talking about the face of volunteering has changed and the opportunities. So tell me a little bit more.
Yeah, so I think traditionally, when people think about volunteering, they might think about charity shop often springs to mind, or there's other work in the community, and that's where volunteers, are great, doing work within the community. But actually nowadays people want to volunteer, there's quite a lot of organisations that will take people on, and it's called micro volunteering. So it could be that you've got a different sort of role and you just want to go in for a short period of time, so a much more concentrated piece of time to do some work with an organisation just to get experience. You might have been made redundant and sort of think, actually, I just need a bit of experience, or sometimes it's just for that interaction, isn't it, of going in and being with people. So a lot of the sort of traditional roles of volunteering. I mean, I was really lucky enough to work at the RNLI for a long time, and obviously that's an organisation that's built massively. It wouldn't exist without volunteers, right from sort of frontline lifesavers. But again, a lot of their different roles. So you have people that will show people around the museum. You also have water safety volunteers, who go into communities and talk about water safety. But I also know someone who went in and did a role very similar to mine. Or she was an organisational design consultant, and she went and worked with their learning development team for a short period of time, getting some experience. So I don't think you should think, for a start, the age is changing, the age range of people that would traditionally volunteer, but also the types of roles are changing massively as well.
I mean, I'm a volunteer. I sit on the board of directors for the Poole and East Dorset RSPCA. And I have to be honest, it's opened my eyes a lot to the different things that I can get involved in. In fact, last weekend, I jumped in a transit van with a colleague, and we shot over to Sainsbury's at Poole and picked up 4 trolley loads of donations. I mean, it was just incredible. So literally we were just the taxi service, which was great. It was a nice run out on a Saturday, and thoroughly enjoyed it. But there's so many different things now that people can get involved with. And I know a lot of volunteer trustee directors, they're always being looked for. I see quite a lot of things on LinkedIn, but there's a lot more hands-on stuff as well, isn't there?
Absolutely. The variety is massive, and it's really, sort of for anybody who's looking to progress, becoming a trustee is an amazing thing, selfishly to have on your CV. And let's face it, volunteering is a brilliant thing to do, but you get so much back as an individual as well, for investing your time. It feels really worthwhile. You feel like you're contributing either to your community or to a cause that you're really passionate about. But the skills you learn are incredible. I mean, to be a trustee, there's certain things, there's governance issues you have to go through. So again, that's a brilliant learning curve.
Yeah.
Get to meet new people, which is always a good thing in my book.
Yeah,
getting to meet lots of different people. And in the past, I've done sort of quite a few years ago, I had back operations and things I couldn't work, but it was really important to me that I didn't just, do nothing in that time. I wanted to, when I did go back into the workplace, I wanted to be able to say, this is what I did. And I took some time, I volunteered at a local Macmillan unit, sort of just volunteering, taking like afternoon tea rounds and meeting people. And I think there was certainly, especially when you're helping with, people who, are going through a difficult time, there's something about then looking at your own life as well and thinking, to look at some people's brilliant attitudes and how they deal with things. It is really good, I think, for your own mental well-being as well.
Absolutely. And I think there's a lot of people that you sort of say the word volunteering and they just kind of roll their eyes. And like you say, they've got visions of helping out down the local charity shop or shaking a tin at a fete or outside a tube station or something like that. But there's so much more to it. And it's really good for us as individuals, I think, to get involved in these things. I mean, I have to be honest, I'm not called on to do an awful lot with the RSPCA, but when I've done it, or when I do something and I get back and I think, do you know what, that was really good. I gave my time for nothing and I've helped all these people. And when we dropped all the food off at Ashley Heath Animal Centre, the people there were like, oh, wow. And it's just like bringing a little bit of sunshine into people's lives sometimes.
Yeah, it does give it a brilliant feeling of fulfillment. And I think certainly, I've sort of seen it quite a lot. I would encourage anybody, if you've having a bit of a difficult time, or if you sort of maybe have sort of been suffering with your own mental health, actually it brings such a sense of fulfillment to be able to sort of give your time and get that thanks back, get that absolute gratitude. And I think that's, one of the things I love about working in the charity sector. You get people that are, really passionate about the cause that they're working or volunteering for. And it just, it is different to sort of just doing something for money. And, people volunteer for all sorts of different reasons. Sometimes it might be career advancement. It could be that you want to sort of add something to your CV. It could be to make yourself feel better. It could be, go back to the RNLI, there's a lot of tradition there. It's like a family thing where different people have done it. But, for whatever reason, if you are given to your community and you are, contributing from the right place to be able to sort of to do good, I think that's got to be a great thing to make you feel good and to benefit that organisation or community as well.
Absolutely. And I know we're going to put a few links in the chat after we've posted this with some people you can get in touch with that are often looking for volunteers and places that you can go to sort of volunteer, doing things a little bit more outside of the box and what people would see as normal volunteering. You know what I mean?
Traditional volunteering.
Traditional volunteering, that's the better way of putting it. And I know that some charities, especially the smaller ones as well, they struggle with things like social media and stuff like that. So that's another way that people can help by giving the benefit of their expertise in things like sort of social media and marketing, which I think at the current time is really important because of, again, coming out of lockdown and charities really trying to find their feet again.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's a really good example of where you might have an expertise and you can go and just, literally for a couple of hours a week, you can make a massive difference, particularly to a small charity. I've got a friend actually who does the social media for a local dogs charity, and but also it puts it sort of front and center when I'm thinking about things to do. I know that she does that for a dog charity, so I have dog stuff, I know I'll give that to her. So it's good for the charity because it raises their profile, and it's great for and I know that my friend gets an awful lot out of doing that. It's just connecting with people, and I think that's another thing that's been some people have lost over the last year, is that sense of connection. And volunteering can really give that back to you, that sense of connecting with people. And I'd also encourage, and been having a conversation with my daughter about this, is it's very I'd encourage younger people at the moment. It's been really difficult in the last year, and a lot of them are finishing their GCSEs in whatever form they are, and it's a long summer till they go back to school. And some of them will be lucky enough to find jobs, and but actually for those that don't, they just want to put something on their CV that might help them in the future. Consider looking at volunteering opportunities in your area. You might not get paid for it, but you might in the long run end up getting a lot more out of it, because what that will bring to your CV for your job or application for college, or if you go on to university, just the people that you'll meet will open up all sorts of opportunities.
Absolutely. So volunteering looks good on your CV, sense of self-worth, giving back to the charities, and it's just all round brilliant.
Yeah, always good for your well-being, I reckon.
Excellent. Rachel, thanks again for your time. It's always a delight to talk to you, and no doubt we'll do something again soon. So for all of you listening, get out there, get volunteering, and put a little bit back. Thank you, Rachel.
Thanks, Andy.